Hey friends, Emily here, and I'm coming at you on this cool fall afternoon right here in my living room. And I've just been looking back at all that God's done over the last couple of months to really just set us up for success as a host team, and wanted to come to you today just to encourage you, thanking you for all the things that you've done over the last season to really make that guest experience so great on Sunday mornings. You know, it is fall. One of my favorite things about fall is the apple cider and pumpkin spice and the holiday season and the puffy jackets and all the fun things with my family. But one of the things that I really don't like about fall is the cold. Just being real with you, Emily just doesn't operate very well in the cold. So my hands get cold, my feet get cold, and sometimes I can wear that cold on my face. Man, it's crazy to think that even when the cold weather settles in, what can just be a cold and dreary day can look little cold and dreary on Emily's face. So I wanted to come at you and just share with you a couple of basic things that I'm really starting to be reminded of over time, and how important it is for you as a host team member to recognize that you get to play a part in changing the way that a guest experiences a Sunday morning simply by choosing to do and take a couple of extra steps on Sunday during this cold season that we're both in and a colder season that is to come. So I wanted to come at you today with just a couple of things, just ways in which we can do better as a team just to make that guest experience so much greater during this season of the year. First off, you know, when so many other places will stop having volunteers or team members go outside, we really encourage volunteers to take that next step to be present outside during the cold season. Yes, we want you out there dressed out in your weather appropriate wear and ready to engage guests. One of the things that we often hear from guests is that our volunteers stood out because they were available even when the weather wasn't great. And so I want to encourage you with that. Let that be like one thing that you keep in mind every single Sunday is, how am I dressed appropriately to be able to meet and serve the needs of the guests that are going to come through the area in which that I serve. And specifically for greeters, next steps, and first time guests and parking team, you guys really feel the effects of the weather, probably more so than any other team that serves on a Sunday morning. But I really want to encourage you to lean in on that and imagine what your first experience was like at renovation, and was it changed because somebody was out there creating a vibe of people who care about guests that are coming on campus. And I think the answer to that is almost always yes. So I want to encourage you, be dressed for success, be ready for a Sunday morning based off of what you're wearing. Secondly, when the urge is to go inside, think it over. You know, I'm finding that guests come early and guests come late. And so it's so important for us to be on time to serve, but to also provide time in our time of service to actually meet those needs. A first-time guest or someone who hasn't been to church in a while is probably going to show up very early because they don't want to be late, or they're going to show up late because maybe they had a hard time getting there. And so for you as a volunteer, this is a great opportunity for you to really stand out of the crowd, to shine, and to really allow Jesus to use you in a remarkable way. I can't tell you the number of comments that I get from guests who've decided to keep coming back because they've seen consistency over time. Volunteers just stepping up and stepping out to meet those needs when no one else would. And so I'm always impressed at what I hear from our first time guests. But I want to encourage you guys to make time, to be available, and to don't go inside when you feel uncomfortable, but to lean into that and to come prepared. And finally, I want to share with you a little bit of a story of a volunteer who probably wouldn't have been a volunteer had they not experienced our host team. And so the story kind of goes like this. She and her husband, they showed up. They had 2 children. It was raining outside, and it was the first time ever visiting Renovation Church. They pulled up, and there was parking lot attendants out there greeting them, and they positioned them in a parking space that was right up front. And immediately as they parked, someone from the Next Steps and First Time Guest team came out with an umbrella and greeted them at the car and helped them get to the tent and get them their information and help them arrive at check-in with their kid spaces, and then flawlessly took them into the auditorium so that they could have time to get seated for the service. And I think what's so cool about this story is the person who shared it with me said that that first experience changed everything. It really changed the way that she saw the host team, but it also changed the way that she saw the heart of our church and our heart for people. And so That volunteer was actually Erica Candies. She was reminding me of this story the other day. And I just want to encourage you with this. You just never know when a guest is going to come in and because of your actions, take the next step in their faith journey, take the next step to serve or to give or to whatever it may be. You could be the game changer in that. We often say that we want to do whatever it takes to create an excellent experience for not only our first time guests, but our repeat guests, because we just want them to know that we care about them, we're family, and we want to be there for them. So during the cold months, I'm going to be speaking specifically to Emily. I want to encourage you to do the same, to dress for success, come ready on Sunday mornings, to be able to meet the needs of guests during the cold weather, but also to give time for that, to not go in as soon as the service starts, but to take a couple of minutes to linger because guests will come late and new guests may come even earlier. So show up on time. And finally, remember your story. Remember that your story was likely changed because of some way that someone met your need. And we want to do that for every single guest as well. Guys, you're doing an excellent job where you serve. I'm so proud that you are on our team, and we just believe that God's going to use this cold season to allow guests that show up on the campus to see that we love them and there's a God that loves them, and He's a detailed God ready to meet their needs just like we are. So continue to serve strong. I look forward to the Sundays ahead as we get to celebrate all that God has in store for us, and I'll see you on Sunday. Have a good one. Bye.